Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. And I've changed location for this one, as you can probably notice. I'm sure if you see my other videos. I'm probably going to change back for part two. I've changed for this one, but my back's a bit sore, so I need to go back to where my back is comfortable. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this video, and it's some of my wacky ideas. I sometimes suffer from ideas overload because I have so many ideas in my mind, and I struggle to decide which ones to go for as I put it, or do, or work on at least, and try and make happen. And I try not to repeat myself too much. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this video, and I think that covers everything for the intro for now. If there's anything I've forgotten, I'll probably cover it at the end of the video. But as ever, please let me know what you think. And here goes. So, number one, anyone who supports these causes or goals of mine. I put causes in speech marks, but just goals generally. I hope to reward by sharing information that they want. For some reason, I put sharing in speech marks, but sharing information that they want me to share. That could be like business cards, leaflets, flyers, websites, or if they're spiritual or religious, it could be scriptures, verses, or whatever. And I want to and that sort of thing. So I want to make it as equal as possible. Although, as far as I'm aware, I think the Bible says anyone who shares any scripture which is different to this, they'll be condemned. But I want to make it as fair as possible. So I hope God will be fair with me and forgive me for trying to be fair and give everyone a fair chance, every spiritual or religious group or business, political party, or whatever. So for each pound they donate to each of these causes, which are including Italian football. Now I was thinking of covering, like, as it's a Wednesday, I was thinking like World Class Wednesdays due to my parents' alliterations. Covering Italian football and how I would love for Italian football to be world class, how to help Italian football to become world class. But I'm hoping to do that on the 27th of December, so exactly 3 months in 3 months' time. So it could be, for instance, encouraging people to reward my efforts in helping developing nations by supporting Italian football and that sort of thing. Number two, I was also thinking of supporting Celtic as well, or talking about how to help Celtic to become world class. I think get more funding, encouraging funding into Celtic as well, Italian football and Celtic, including youth development. But anyone who donates £1 to each of these causes, I hope to share one piece of information for each £1 they donate. So if they donated, say, just £1 to Italian football, I'd share, like, it could be a business card or information on their website. I could put one post on my Facebook or cover them on YouTube for a little bit. But I want to try and make the deal as fair as possible for myself and them. I want to get as many businesses, potential investors, donators, or whatnot, and political politicians, political parties, spiritual or religious individuals and organisations and whatnot to support such, or to get involved in such. So they want information to share. As I say, anyone who has any information to share. Number three, same for libertarianism. I mean, I imagine obviously another political party is not going to want to share libertarianism, so people might not want to share all these sort of things that I want to work on, but they could say, well, I'll still support Italian football or Celtic. When I say support, I mean financially or whatnot, because I think that's really important nowadays. Like, finances, really, as we live in a financial world, finances affect all areas of life, including sports, I suppose, and to buy better players and to invest in the academies, which I think are important in Italy's case for the national team as well. So when I say sport, as I say, I mean financial. Number four, supporting people from former colonies, developing nations, emerging market economies, or whatnot, especially former colonies. I suppose former colonies normally are emerging markets, and vice versa, emerging market economies. Number five, tackling poverty and alleviating suffering, and spreading peace, love, joy, hope, happiness, and all the positive stuff and all the good stuff, rather than negative stuff, like trying to alleviate the negative stuff, spread positivity and stuff like that. Number six, any of my works or plans generally, including my writings especially, as one of the dilemmas is because it's September, September. Comes along every year, I suppose, but it's a September, if you like, or it's September, shall we say, 2023, of course. I hope to work on writing, because September is the 9th month, and the number 9 reminds me of paperworks, because it reminds me of backwards P for paperwork. So, and it's a Wednesday as well, so I was thinking like writing Wednesdays. But this month I did want to do a lot on M.K.S writings and stuff like that. M.K.S works, M.K.S initial auctions / signature sales, and things like that. M.K.S works for M.K.S initial auctions / signature sales for M.K.S works, M.K.S works for M.K.S initial auctions / signature sales, M.K.S for books online, and the M.K.S virtually practically / virtually paperless office, which would be a bit of a hypocritical one for me because of my hoarding and stuff like that. Number 7, on that note, I wanted to cover those ideas a lot more, and due to my mental health sort of thing, I'm stuck at 6s and 7s. I love to have paperwork and writings wherever I can, and part of me, if I could, I would have paperwork like literally everywhere, like literally everywhere. Like there wouldn't be a place in the world where I probably wouldn't have paperwork. Although the idea of them is to try and help others, so I suppose you could say that's counterproductive. And I suppose I've got to admit, it is a hypocritical sort of idea of mine to have a paperless office, virtually paperless office, and at the same time, when I hoard paperwork everywhere. And like sometimes I even imagine like if there was paperwork, or papers or writings, even on like just all over a room, like even on the floor and stuff like that, and in bags and boxes perhaps and whatever, but or even on a football pitch or whatever. So I know I'm nuts, but I know I have some weird sort of habits and all that. Probably I shouldn't admit to them, but I just think like confessing to them sort of gives some closure perhaps. So I keep checking my mobile for something, I don't know why. It looks like I've got notes there, but I haven't. You can probably tell. Number 8, but as I say, anyone who helps any of these causes and goals and supports me, especially those who I love and trust, and who I think love and trust me back, or vice versa. I love them because they love me first, or whatever. I hope to return the favor. But even like from a business point, even if I think they don't really like me as a person necessarily, but it's like just business perhaps. But even so, like I'm hoping on numbers game, some people might think it's worth giving this mad guy here, this weird guy over here, a room to write in the hope that, especially if they have a spare space where they're not using it, it's like derelict. They want to make use of that space, and I get to write. I'd say for me, I would love to have as much writing as possible. Writing when, where, and wherever I have permission and that sort of thing. So I hope to return the favour by sharing a bit of information that they want me to share. I'd say like for like, 1, 2, or for 1, or share as I sometimes call it. Number 9. So any projects that help me with, I hope to sit down with them and make the fairest possible deal, and have the confidence and the guts to talk about my mad ideas, even though they're really quirky, and even I struggle to understand them. But sometimes, I hope to try and plan them through and see what can be done. And I say when and wherever I have permission, I hope to write when, where, and however, and that kind of thing. And I also think of like line for line, sentence for sentence, and that sort of thing. So I'd say like for like is probably the best way of putting it. So for instance, if a mosque or a Muslim group or Christian group or church or any other religious group, spiritual or religious group, or business or business person or business itself, or political party or politician in the singular or the plural, for each line they help me to write that I have a record of, or manage to use. If I manage to utilize the ideas that I write with their help, I hope to share a line from their business or political party, or it could be a verse from the Bible or Quran or whatever, and I hope to do it as fairly as possible. Number 10, hopefully the one true religion or one true faith, if there is one, as I mentioned on my Facebook. I do try and keep the ideas different if I can. As a creature of habit, I do struggle to do so. But I hope whichever one helps me the most, obviously will get the most shares and whatever, and get to I would say exposed, but that's get more exposure, but that probably doesn't sound the best way. But yeah, get better PR or marketing or branding or whatever. So hopefully more people will find out about them and that kind of thing. So hopefully that'll be an incentive, and hopefully the one that helps me the most will be the one that deserves the most support, and will be the one true religion or whatever. Hopefully God will show me who he is in a good way, because I have to think, why doesn't God show himself in a good way rather than making natural disasters or whatever? Why doesn't God like sort of make people happy or things like that? One way he could show himself in a good way is by supporting my works or plans generally. Sometimes I forget, because I do my writing and I want it to be in a certain way and have these sort of patterns, weird patterns and styles, or whatever styles as I put them. I forget what's important is what's in the ideas. So all those things I talked about, my 5 courses and stuff like that, they're what I'm supposed to be working on as I see it, or what I want to dedicate my life to, as much of it as possible. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Some people out there, as many people as possible, and I'm out. Peace and love.